Tell me about Dimitri.
So Dimitri was a character since day one. He was never one who wanted to be held back in any way.
Oh my God, my dream.
He always wants to be a part of everything.
Mama, dog.
What? Always making sure everyone's accounted for.
Try this one.
He makes the funniest little faces. And it's something I remember, looking at him in the hospital. Anytime I had a chance to hold him, I would run up to the hospital and take advantage of that. Hi, Dimitri. Mama's here. Mommy came to see you. When I was 30 weeks pregnant, I started to feel a leaking sensation. And when I went to the hospital, I learned that I had ruptured my water prematurely. So I would be in the hospital until I gave birth to my son, Dimitri. I remember the 3.5 weeks that I was in the hospital. The nurses would celebrate another day pregnant, and I would always think another day until my baby's going to be in an incubator. I didn't know how important it was to be able to hold my baby as soon as they were born. And that was the biggest struggle that I was dealing with throughout my labor, was just wondering, will I be able to hold him?
Happy 1 week old. Mommy and Daddy love you so much.
And he struggled a lot with his lungs. He ended up having to be intubated a second time.
Are you working hard?
1 minute, everything seems to be stable, and the next minute, question about his heart or his breathing had sort of regressed. And while I was in the hospital, the NICU team had come to me and explained the benefits of donor human pasteurized milk.
All babies benefit from human milk. For a baby that's born premature, whose systems are still developing, they can actually, in some cases, only safely digest human milk. And often when you're born very early, mom's own milk may not have come in yet. Then we need a different human milk supply for those babies. So I'm Deb Youngblood. I'm the CEO of Mother's Milk Bank Northeast. Our mission here is to make sure that we have safe, pasteurized human donor milk to provide for particularly medically fragile babies. Demand has continued to grow for donor milk as the science continues to improve and deepen and show the real benefits for babies. And in order to keep up with that growth, we really need to have that technology, that infrastructure, in order for us to sort of streamline our operations. And so I was happily introduced to GE Appliances.
Thanks for joining. Today we're going to get into our meeting on Mother's Milk Bank. Our team found out about Mother's Milk Bank Northeast and learned about the help that they needed implementing the Salesforce nonprofit platform. And they were looking for some help from an organization to get it implemented for them. This project was especially important to me as I had a medically fragile little girl who also needed donated breast milk the first few weeks of her life. So the system and this whole donation process, getting the milk from the donors processed through the system and to the medically fragile infants is absolutely essential to their survival.
Salesforce themselves came in and gave a little bit of pro bono support to help us get started. And one of the things that became really apparent during that process was that in order for the Salesforce product to be sort of meaningfully impactful, it needed to be customized in a fairly significant way. That customization is really far outside of the wheelhouse of folks here at the Milk Bank.
When I first learned about the ask and the need from Mother's Milk Bank Northeast, I was really excited. We have a lot of technical expertise, and I knew we could do it along with our project management and our data mapping skills and all sorts of great skills we have in the organization. And I knew we were going to be able to get volunteers to participate. I started by reaching out to our Women in Digital Technology organization, and I received an overwhelming response. A lot of the volunteers were mothers or soon to be mothers, and so they felt passionate about the purpose of Mother's Milk Bank and how important it was to fragile infants.
And they worked with us for months to really understand how does our organization work and what are the needs of the organization. And then I think of them almost as our translators. So we were able to talk to them in the language that makes sense to us, to keep track of our milk donors, to keep track of our inventory, to understand how much milk is coming in and how much milk is going out, and created that database for us. And then they really held our hands and trained us in how to use it.
The system that we implemented gave them the ability to track the milk throughout the various stages that it goes through to the point where it's ready for infants to be donated. It's really critical and a lot of medical compliance required that we were able to build into the system. After we were able to get it tested and ready to roll out to the employees at Mother's Milk Bank Northeast, we were able to put training documentations together and videos and train the actual users of the system so that they feel comfortable taking it over and also administering it going forward.
Having this database now means that at a glance, we're able to look at a dashboard and see, okay, exactly how much milk do we have in inventory? How can we stay ahead of that? Even just in this short period of time, we've seen our milk production increase by 15%. Demand has done nothing but rise. And so with this new system, we feel confident in our ability to meet that demand and keep track of all of the needs of our clients and be able to impact even more families.
The volunteers from our Women in Digital Technology group were passionate about this effort, and they understand the value and how wonderful this organization is, especially to helping fragile infants.
GE Appliances came in and recognized that we're a small nonprofit. We don't have strong financial resources to be able to invest in these things. It's been quite an amazing experience to work with this group of women who really cared enough about the babies and the families that we serve to take their expertise and lend it to our nonprofit so that we could have an even deeper impact.
I think it's so beautiful to see that a group of women looked at a cause that was important and impacted so many other women, and they wanted to use their talents to provide the knowledge and resources and tools needed. Everybody has a story as to what brought them to the milk bank. And every time I look at my son, who's now 3, I think of everybody who gave even just a few minutes in helping him, knowing that thanks to them, thanks to everything they did, he's able to be the fun, quirky 3-year-old that he is.